for Blank, something that he's found a good amount of success on. But we'll have to see what happens now with the pick and ban, because we saw first pick Rise yesterday from Spenu, and Sawson went off on that
was
champion.
Hilarious. The Silver Lulu.
I genuinely lost my mind when he TP'd in and just came sprinting down the river. I got so excited. It caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting him to move that quickly. So I'd love to see that picked up again, maybe in the hands of Duke or Kuvai, or even Faker in the mid lane, picking up Rise.
Yeah, could definitely see him return to that champion. Meanwhile, a little bit of pocket bans going on here with Brown's Varus and Faker's Azir now taken out of the pool. So Sivir also, these are very SK Telecom specific bans.
Yeah.
They really love running that Sivir and the Azir these days.
And so much easy damage on your backline.
Yes, exactly.
And Poppy, of course, banned out. Don't get to see her too much these days. She's been getting banned quite frequently.
You know, one of the most interesting things about Samsung's loss to Longzhu for me is that they were playing Victor Varus, things like Lissandra Top. These are big comfort picks for Samsung. These are some of their most successful champions, and they still got 0-2'd by Longzhu. A little bit odd in that game. Of course, SK Telecom will be going with the Nidalee first pick as the Corki is banned. So we could see the Rise and the Lulu taken away immediately. This would be a very heavy targeting of Faker's champion pool for this season.
Yep.
I don't know if targeting Faker's champion pool in pick and ban has ever been something that actually works against us.
Not really. It's more when you bait his champion pool where it works out for you.
Yes,
the famed win, BDG at MSI, baiting him into picking that LeBlanc.
That was great.
That was a really good mind game, and then I don't know what China happened. Like he just went on a downward slope from there. But Italy does make it through, so that will be snatched up for Blank. Not something that we see a whole lot of. We did see it yesterday, but it will be Rise and Lulu grabbed up here. So
interesting.
Could be the top Lulu. That's what we saw yesterday, run by Spenu, but it could just as easily be the top Rise.
I actually really like this. So Faker, they took away Faker's 3 most played champions in Lulu, Corki, and Azir this season. His next most played are Lissandra and Zed, each with 3 games. So I really like that they're doing this because I want to see what SKT does now. I'm really curious what their plan is going to be.
Yeah, it always seems like they've gotten at least one of those champions for Faker. But this time around, taking away the top 3, how are they going to adapt? What are they going to go for? Right now, a long hover over this Graves. Gonna flip, though, because it would likely have to be a top lane Graves or mid lane Graves. I don't know if they want to go for that, but they're still checking out some of these other jungle champions.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, they're just gonna
I
go
was
for
gonna say, are we going to see a lane Nidalee? I haven't seen that in forever.
More likely to be the laning Graves, but yeah, Maokai, they're just going to stick with some power picks right now. Take away the Braum also to eliminate some of that possible poke damage that could be coming in, or...
Well, you want to take that one away because you have that Nidalee, so it enables your poke even more because you deny that unbreakable from the other side, so good snatch up.
What are they going to do here? Core JJ,
Locks the Lucian.
Locking in the Lucian. Big comfort pick for him, and of course Ambition will be on his best champion probably this season in that Graves, although he is an excellent Kindred player as well. And could we just see a full bore poke composition coming through right now? Wolf with a Jace hover.
Oh, it's going to be locked in for Faker, actually.
Ezreal, yeah.
Yeah, so big poke comp coming out here with the Ezreal as well for Bang. So Faker going to try his hand at this Jace. We saw Coco absolutely devastate Samsung with it.
Has Jace buffs, really helping out with some of his close range burst damage. Able to really 1v1 people very well, even better than he did before. This looks like he's going to be taking exhaust on the Jace in the mid lane just to help deal with that Rise should the Rise get in too close. Try and win that duel. Looking at the Bard right now. Bard is an excellent pick against poke compositions because you are able to snag that back line, offers you another form of engage. And that's what Samsung really needs right now because barring just having that Lulu run up, or the Rise run up with a Whimsy, and getting some sort of route down with the Rise, you're not really going to have that many options for engage, so the Bard is going to be the selection. But man, Wraith is going to have to be really on point with the Bard ults if they are actually going to be able to catch SK Telecom out in these fights, because that is, they have very limited opportunities to get onto that back line. They're going to have also some trouble possibly flanking here as long as the wards are good. SKT, I think, has a big advantage coming out of this draft.
Yeah, there is some opportunity for CC layering. Even if you just get the root first with the Rise, you could follow up with the Cosmic Binding, but I do have to agree.
Yeah.
Liking this composition coming out from SK Telecom.
I think it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to reliably close the gap and stop SK Telecom from poking them. They could try and take a big win here in the laning phase. SKT, I assume, is going to try to initiate a lane swap, which would kind of get them over the hump. But with Rise, he's great as a follow-up or a secondary engage. He can't really do much all by himself, even as fast as he's going to be with a Whimsy on him. It's up to Cuvée to get those good TP flanks in, but fortunately, Cuvée is actually a very good teleport player, so he's got to make it count in this game, that's for sure.
Well, if he can play it anything like Sassen did, it might just work out for him. Let's get onto the rift here. SKT versus Samsung. All right, very full crowd here today as everyone comes out to watch these teams. Just stacked games overall today. Big fan teams.
And for good reason. We're going to have some great matches. And also, just as a note, you might see some people in these crowd shots holding signs on the Samsung side. It is Ambition, or on April 11th, I should say. No, so not quite yet, but on April 11th, it will be Ambition's 4-year anniversary as a pro player, starting way back in April, as we can see right now. Yeah. Way back in April of 2012. And Ambition here. Always been a legend in the scene, continuing his career as a jungler. Started as a mid laner, of course, one of the most dominant mid laners Korea's ever seen. Numerous major international wins back on Azubu and then CJ Blaze.
And then Faker happened.
But, I mean, even after Faker debuted, he was still one of the best mid laners that the league had.
Yeah. Now he's been looking like one of the better junglers in the league.
If he gets to farm.
Yeah, if he gets to farm.
He's a farm machine, but his teamfight sense, I think what he really brought to this meta as a jungler was that excellent sense of how to teamfight and the positioning and how to really maximize his damage output in those little skirmishes. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Faker's Jace. It's not a champion that we normally think of Faker playing. So, again, usually when Faker goes for these AD poke champions, he's most renowned for his Ezreal play in the mid lane. I'll take a look and see how many times he has played Jace.
Either way, I'm excited.
Are you?
Faker Jace just sounds wonderful. I mean, Coco Jace was a treat to see the other day. Faker Jace just sounds even better.
Yeah, he's actually only ever played 2 professional games of Jace.
I know it's not too many.
Yeah, well, it is 2.
Haha. You got me there. We can see the lane swap was matched by Samsung, so not going to be getting the 2-1 open lane as SKT was more than likely looking for. This could play into the hands of Samsung, but you know, this matchup for Duke now on this Maokai not going to be nearly as punishing as it would have been just a couple patches ago. Now that Maokai got that buff, gets that base increase to MR as he levels up.
Probably an unneeded buff in my opinion, but you know what? Might as well just, he was already seeing professional play, he was already fine, and now he's even tankier than he was. May also be a viable support now because of that MR buff.
I've been waiting to see him as support. I've heard some stories, I should say, about the Maokai support and how devastating it is to the enemy.
I mean, it's got everything you want. It has vision with the saplings.
Targeted CC.
Targeted CC. Big damage reduction. It's and now that he's just innately tankier, can serve that support role even better. So wouldn't surprise me.
And self-sustain off that sap magic.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can't even just target the support and try to run him out of lane.
So yes, I think we may see some more Maokai support, but of course he's still excellent in the top lane.
Faker missing a couple CS there, a little uncharacteristic. So he won't connect with those. Gonna go ahead and do an early back. We'll be able to return to lane, has that acceleration gate, plus the movement speed increase that you get from swapping stances.
Showing off your Jace knowledge, I see, Achilles.
Yes, of course.
Your favorite champion. You're like, I got this one.
He is my favorite champion. I actually, at one point, I applied to Riot Games to be a...
Professional Jace?
Yes, to be a professional Jace. A professional Jace cosplayer. No, to work on their video team, creating things like the champion spotlights.
Oh, yeah?
My assignment was to make a video about my favorite champion. So I made a introduction to Jace and how to play.
So why'd you fail to get the job?
They wanted some more videos, and then Team Liquid contacted me, so,
Okay.
so I went for that job instead.
A likely story. I think they just didn't want you. But it's okay, because we want you at OG Attic.
There we go. It works out in the end. I feel wanted and loved.
Well, likely this early game not going to be too exciting, but Faker on a roll.
You say this as Faker is up here, Wraith gonna walk into the
Oh,
barrage,
God.
gets a big burst of damage, has to take the magical journey. Faker not gonna run through that one. TP though, coming up to that top side from Crown, will deter Faker from going in any further.
Well, we almost got to see the fancy to the skies damage.
Yeah. You know, if he was running Ignite, I think he could have gotten that kill and gotten out before the TP.
Yeah, but at the very least, Blank going to cover the mid lane and pulling the minion wave over here
Yep.
for
And that's
Faker to farm, and they just get a free TP out of the deal from Crown.
Very solid roam there by Faker. And he's going to be able to catch up in CS as well. So overall, not losing anything for that exchange. Very nicely played by him. And this is, you know, this is also good because JC is one of those champions that's going to be able to match that roam against Lulu, especially after the Whimsy move speed did get nerfed.
So in this game, we are going to have 3 tiers stacking eventually.
Hooray!
For Bang and for Faker and for Cuvee. But the question is, SK Telecom is going to be weak and having some wave clearing issues and some dive vulnerability in the early game. And even though Cuvee is also going to be stacking up his tier, he can still do obviously a lot of damage. And because he's Rise and he actually does turn mana into damage.
Quite literally.
So that's a little bit of a boost right there. But in any event,
Oh, Faker going to spot Ambition now.
yeah,
Doesn't like the Scuttle Crab, apparently. Smacks
Samsung,
him around.
yeah, Samsung really needs to take advantage of the early game here in order to force an uncomfortable situation for SK Telecom, because even though they've got this Rise, again, he is going to be very easily kited by this composition in the late game, barring some tremendous Bard ultimates, which should give SKT a big advantage. And just the scaling damage that you'll be facing from SKT is just ludicrous, especially since Blank probably going to go for a Rod of Ages here also. And I don't really know what Samsung could do if they don't start to push turrets and dive them early.
Yeah. One of the big things that led to Sassen's success yesterday was no one really built any penetration items to get through Sassen's big health pool and all of the armor and MR that he had stacked up. No one really was able to just damage him. I don't think he really dipped below 50% at almost any point in that game. And we're not going to... Well, I was going to say we're not going to have itemization issues for SKT like they did for Longzhu, but Blank's still having some niddly issues as he can't make it over the wall.
It may have been in his best interest not to, in fact, make it over that wall, considering that Cuvee was on the roam up there and may well have caught him out in the jungle. Faker without a lot of pressure on the mid lane, too.
Oh, yeah, gonna go in here, gets polymorphed immediately, however. So not gonna be able to follow up with that E.
Both Ambition and Blank love to farm in the early game. You know, we don't see Blank often contributing to a lot of these early kills. Instead, it's mostly about pathing and counter jungling for both of these guys. And Ambition is going to get the better of it as he plays around the pressure on the top side of the map and takes away the blue buff.
Yep. Duke laying down a bit of damage. He's using that Vengeful Maelstrom, still pretty short cooldown even at that rank 1. So just trying to keep himself sustained up in these trades and try to go even with Cuvee, who's just got a little bit of a CS. Nothing too crazy though.
Try number 2.
Yep. Should be able to get it this time. They know that the Rise is backing, so Blank feeling
much better.
Quite safe this time around. But that will be the Catalyst of the Protector coming in here for Cuvee as he continues that upward scale as Rise.
It's going to be a really late tier from Bang. He's been sticking around lane.
Yeah, this is a really long lane sit for an Ezreal.
Well, here's the thing, though. Bang is the only one continuing to play Ezreal in this league actively. He's been picking it quite frequently, even after some of these new AD carries have come in vogue. And it's interesting that he can go evenly in lane as he can. And I think that's really the power if you're Bang and you can go evenly in lane. And the longer you can force these situations where no one goes back, the Lucian is unable to take advantage of you by having a distinct item advantage. He's just going to go straight for the Muramana.
Okay.
Or Manamune, rather.
I was expecting a tier Sheen, but just going to pick up the Sapphire Crystal for that.
Yeah, so this is trying to scale as fast as he can, knows that he's late on the tier stacking, so this will help him make up for a little bit of that lost time, like you said, instead of just going for the Sheen and the tier. But I don't see a reason to not play Ezreal. He's still one of the highest damage 80 carries in the late game. Has a lot of survivability, excellent at kiting, really helps shape team fights, and obviously plays into the poke composition as well. And if you can get by in the laning phase and not fall too horrendously behind, you might as well just keep playing him if you're SK Telecom.
Yeah. No reason not to. You can see, though, starts up the dragon, but just going to run down to this bot side. We'll walk past that big ward. Looks like they might go for a pinch on the back side of this one. Perhaps the dive. Faker not going to get caught out by that Bard ultimate, but gets knocked out by the Wild Growth. Has to run down here into Blank and Wolf. Should be able to keep himself alive. Kube pitching on the sidelines. Actually, aggressive flash by Ambition, who's laying down a bit of damage. Hasn't thrown out the collateral damage quite just yet. They're in the back of the pit. Big Q comes in, throws out the collateral damage. Will they go down? Faker barely staying alive, just sitting in the pit. But one auto attack is going to finish him off, and there it is. Kube walks forward, kills him with the W. That's first blood going over to Samsung, and that'll be the dragon to follow.
Yeah, Samsung responded to that extremely well. They smelled the dive coming in the bottom side, and so they immediately tried to just pinch onto Faker and punish him while he was attempting to roam down. Cuvée managed to escape because the minion wave still was not underneath his turret into the river and helped make a play right there. And SKT, they're just getting greedy. They still have these two tiers that are stacking. Now is not the time that they want to fight. They needed to just sit in lane, and they got everything that they wanted to because they swapped the Ezreal back down to the bottom side, which kept him away from the Lucian, who went back and picked up the BF sword and would have an advantage in some of these trades. So they could have just bought themselves more time to safely stack their tiers there and not tried to engage in some weird combat, taking a bunch of damage to their mid lane turret. And there's no reason for them to get antsy. Their win condition is get Muramana, siege. That's it. So Faker here going to get caught out, does get knocked up in the end at Blank and Wolf. But you can see right here, Cuvée is able to successfully zone the Ezreal out of the river, and that means Ryze just responds first in the pit. Faker's already used both of his summoners, so he sets a stand there and die, basically. Blank's going to pop out. Wolf will follow him with the stand behind me, but Faker just left high and dry.
Yeah. Wasn't even able to use really any of his abilities, just sitting there running back and forth, not attacking anything. Just completely pinned.
This is a terrible time to fight for SK Telecom.
Yeah.
Now, they're not playing to their win conditions. They're not playing to their power spikes. Just bad decision making.
Yep. Rough stuff so far, and that's going to give a 1.3 thousand gold lead over to Samsung, plus that dragon. We saw SKT start up the Rift Herald, but immediately peel off of it. So just some free damage onto Faker and Duke as they back off and go back to their lanes. You can see now Crown starting to get a bit of a CS lead, one that's visible here, the 112 to 93. Faker just going to pick up 3 more here underneath the tower, still pretty significantly behind. Oh. Actually takes the magical journey into the spear.
That's a magical journey I wouldn't want to take.
Yeah, that was a really bad journey.
Magical journeys sound really fun. I mean, not necessarily. There's like dark magic.
There's dark magic.
There's dark magic too, but I don't know if my magical journey would include just a spear to the face right as you start taking it.
Yeah. Nothing that magical about a spear.
What? What? There are tons of magic spears.
Well, I mean, just like a spear in general.
What about
Italy's happens to be a magic spear.
What about Odin's spear? Gungnir. That's a magic spear.
I'm thinking like Diablo 2, where the character themselves possesses the magic and they imbue the spear. The spear is just a regular spear or javelin.
Okay.
Spirazons.
Oh, going back to the Diablo 2 days, I
Yeah.
see.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
God, I lost grades over that game because I just would play all the time. I forget how old, I must have been so young. I think it was like 10.
Yeah, you must have been so young because I was playing that game when I was a teenager. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like maybe 9 when that game came out, or something in that range. I don't exactly remember. Duke laying all the damage here. Gonna run out of mana pretty soon. Kuve going low. Nice! I didn't think he had it, but Duke comes up with a big arcane smash. Solo kills the Rise. Maokai officially busted.
Wow. Well, you know, that MR combined with the Cowl and the Merc Treads.
And the Sap Magic. Oh, flanked out, getting a little too aggressive. Wolf's gonna have to hop away. The Cullen comes through though, laying down a bit of damage. Wolf trying to get out of here, gets caught by the tip of the Bard ultimate. Nowhere to go, he's gonna die. And that's the second kill picked up here for Samsung.
I don't know what SKT is doing. Their decision making is quite poor this game, and Samsung just collapsing on them at every opportunity.
Yeah.
SKT trying to pick these fights over and over and over again. They can't take the wins that they have. They can't just be patient and scale here. Only lost one turret so far, but it is that mid lane tower, and that's opened up the map. And trying to make a play onto the enemy blue when your mid lane turret is down is, I think, foolish at best. Duke had his TP, but had just finished soloing that Rise, so really couldn't move in with his amount of mana to try and contest.
Yep. Yeah, losing that mid tower, having the mid tower be the one tower that went down is pretty bad and undesirable.
Yeah, Duke here too. He's got to be really careful because he's itemized full MR right now, and he has to deal with Ambition and Core.
Yeah.
But this item build with the Spirit Visage to allow him to use his passive to heal up very rapidly with how fast Rise casts spells. So
yeah.
basically, pretty much every other auto attack, he's going to be in a position to get a nice big chunk of HP right back, especially with the increased healing from the Spirit Visage. It's a nice bonus. SKT now deciding that perhaps is a good time to play cross-map objectives, which they should have been doing all game until they hit their power spike.
Yep. But nothing is for free with these trades. They lose the top tier 1 as they take down the 1 on the bot side.
Yeah, Ambition doing the smart thing right here. He knows that he's got the damage to really shred this Maokai.
And this tower.
And this tower.
Say it takes a bit of damage. Ambition using those tanky stats from the Graves to just take a couple of those shots. Wave coming in. They might be able to get this one. Blank starting to pinch up. Wolf Spirit comes out. We'll be able to spot them. Ambition's like, that's fine.
Just walks in, takes his Wolf.
And now I'll take your tower.
Takes his tower. Wow, this is some swag jungle play here from Ambition.
Yeah, and this is looking a little bit worrisome for SKT, not just in the sense of this game, but also in the sense that they have to go up against KT next week.
Every game matters right now. If we end up in a situation where each team is tied in best of threes, it goes to that game differential. It's incredibly important that you take 2-0s right now for all of the teams looking to get into the playoffs, because that may be the difference between making that 5th seed and just having a long off season.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hope that we get to a point where it's Africa, SKT, the two teams that aren't necessarily locked in the playoffs, and it comes down to that. So Mickey versus Faker yet again. But
Ambition's back.
Yeah, Ambition's just gonna push himself in here and be like, this is mine. He smites it out. God, Blake is just not able to have anything, nor is SKT. He just takes away the dragon for their second.
Ambition is definitely asserting his dominance in this game over Blake.
It's like 4 years of kicking your asses right here.
It's like, how is it, rookie? Do you like it now? I don't think he does like it now. I think he's.
I don't think so.
I think he's sad that he doesn't even have Rod of Ages yet.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Well,
I think SKT feels it.
They do, and they've got to be very worried. But SKT just needs to hold on to their remaining turrets at this stage and continue to set up for some sort of siege. But that's hard that they've fallen behind in the turret game and they're going to have to overextend. They need to lay down the vision control first and really just to start abusing their poke, but they're just not there yet, as we see. Of course, Muramon is not going to be done for another few minutes.
Rough spot here. This is Blank Yeah, his Rod of Ages is so late now.
I think the big win condition here for Samsung has to be this dragon. Like, they need to continue to get these dragons, because basically the only way they're going to be able to force SKT to fight them is with a threat of a Baron or a 5th dragon. They simply do not have the engage tools to really make it work against SK Telecom with the amount of mobility and kiting they have. So Ambition, though, just going nuts this game. He's in the right place at all the right times.
Yeah.
He's following the minion waves and just taking turrets left and right.
I mean,
Blank just not responding very well to the pushes that are coming through, or being on the opposite side of the map to try and match that pressure.
This is how he was playing when they took down the Rocks Tigers. Just Ambition going crazy.
I know, we all love Ambition. It's a very fun jungler to watch when he's on his game.
And that's been most of the games recently from Samsung. Sans Longju.
Except for the long shot.
Except for that dark, forgettable game, for their sake at least.
It's all right. They gave Longju the glimmer of the hope of playoffs.
They
before
wanted to
Spedu
just,
came and dunked on them.
Yeah, they just wanted to.
That's actually very funny.
They wanted to co-sandbag with Spedu. Man, what a set that was. That was just
It's a really fun game.
We finally got the mid lane Jarvan.
I know. I've been waiting so long for that.
That was so great.
That was like 6 weeks of hovering it, teasing it, jab select.
Yep. Wolf throws out the Glacial Fissure. Crown throws out the Flash. Good cooldown to get burned though for the side of SKT. So don't have to worry about that one, but I don't know if they're going to be able to punish further. They're going to try to. Throughout the exhaust. Ooh, very quick E. It's banked to the other side a little bit further away from Samsung.
And here's the problem. So Cuvée, I don't know why he TP'd in right there. That was actually a huge error.
Yeah.
The Bart ult had already been used and missed as Bang just arcane shifted out of it. So that's your engage gone right there. If Cuvée doesn't have home guard on him, he's not actually going to catch anybody from SK Telecom, most likely. And now they're down at a TP disadvantage. Could hurt their chances at this next dragon.
Yeah. They could at least match with Crown, but obviously not going to be nearly as impactful as Cuvée coming into the teleport.
No, absolutely they can't. Like, absolutely that will not be useful at all. So it's looking a little bit rough here for Samsung. Sure, they have this large gold lead, but if they don't get the next dragon, I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Could very well be. Let's see though, Rod of Ages starting to stack up for Cuvée. He's got a couple stacks on that now. Actually, I can't tell if it's a 7 or I think it's a 7. Okay, so he's almost done. But the Seraph's Embrace completed as well. So in a really good spot, looking like Merc Tread's going to be coming in next for him. So doesn't want to get rooted down for too long here.
Yes, but Cuvée, we know on this rise can do damage.
Yes.
Achilles. The question is, will he do damage? And I think the answer to that is, as long as SKT positions properly and keeps their vision up, make sure to de-ward their flanks as they siege, they should be in a much better position.
Oh, Ambition going aggressive on the Blank, works him down to half HP with little to no effort.
It's okay. He's got an Italy heal.
Yeah, will be able to keep himself fairly sustained. Ambition, though, on the fast track to getting that Sterix.
Samsung's doing a really good job of maintaining an aggressive ward line in the river, preventing SKT from ever actually using their poke comp to siege. And then constantly threatening these tier 2 turrets as Ambition roams around the map. It's been a very good strong point so far for Samsung, and they've got 50 seconds to make this next dragon work.
The other thing that this is doing, though, this delay in objective takes on the side of Samsung, who haven't been able to get anything in the last couple minutes here, is it's allowing a lot of time for Duke to keep scaling up defensively on this Maokai.
And he's going to be very important. He can peel this rise straight off the rest of his team.
Yep, almost has the Frozen Heart completed. Warden's Mail and the Glacial Shroud in his inventory. So we saw yesterday Maokai pretty much unkillable once he gets that full build. Someday played it pretty magnificently.
He's always been a great Maokai player. It's fun to see him play that champion again.
Yeah, I believe Papa said that it was his most played champion.
No, Renekton is his most played champion historically.
In competitive play?
Something? Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
I know my someday Achilles.
Then maybe it was his win record. There was something about someday and a lot of Maokai.
He has played a lot of Maokai, but Renekton is his most played champion.
Okay. Forgive me.
That's why I'm here, Achilles.
You've been here a little bit longer than I have.
Encyclopedia on Korean players. Well.
Oh, Kuve gonna push the go button, but not gonna be able to find anything. Short cooldown though, so not gonna be too punished as it's already 25% off cooldown. And now 50% off cooldown.
Yep.
That's just the story with Rise. Use it all you want. That's interesting. We have a Luden's Echo, very aggressive build coming out from Crown.
I just think they're trying to match Poke right now.
Yeah. Looks like it'll be working out for them.
Also, just more valuable for split pushing. Perhaps they think that as long as they can 1-3-1 split push, they can prevent SK Telecom from grouping. This Dragon's been sitting here for a really long time now.
Yeah. No one really looking to start it up. Crown is splitting in that top side. The TP almost available. They might be trying to buy more time for Kuva to get his TP up because it's about 25 seconds off.
So they had to go. Yeah, Samsung has actually been able to clear out that top lane too, and Faker.
I don't know about that one.
There.
Yeah, don't fight Ambition. You will not win that one. Duke taking a lot of damage. Already throws out the Ventral Maelstrom, trying to mitigate as much as he can. Wild Growth onto Ambition to lock him up and knock him up. Duke taking a lot of damage, has to flash away. Bard ultimate comes out and does catch him. He's one hit from dead. Looks like he's going to go down. Heal comes through, actually. Nice Unbreakable by Wolf to block the Q from Ambition. Now getting exhausted, has to flash away. Takes a bit of damage from the Javelin as well. Good disengage and good saving from SKT to keep that top laner alive.
Yeah, Bang had to blow. Bang and Wolf had to blow 3 of their summoners, though, to actually get that save to happen in the end, but they do manage to save Dookie. He does have TP. He's coming back out of base with his home guards right now. Blank and Faker just a little bit low on mana, but they have turned their attention to the Dragon.
Well, the recall came in from Ambition.
Samsung, they really have to be able to fight this Dragon. This is a huge win condition for them, and if they don't, ooh, this is really bad for them.
Yeah, they're just going to have to give this one up. Ambition on the run back, but not going to make it in time. So first Dragon for SKT, third overall at 26 minutes, and that's a win condition taken away, or at least heavily delayed here for Samsung.
Heavily delayed. I mean, we're looking at like a 44-minute Dragon now for them. And as we take a look here, Duke does get caught out a little bit roaming in from the river. Remember, they don't have very many wards there. And Ambition going to get the Wild Growth on him, and then they're, of course, coming through.
Honestly, the Bard ultimate helped keep him alive.
Yes, it did.
And so, sorry, Wraith, but not exactly what you wanted to do.
Gave time for Bang and Wolf to get there, too, and use that summoner heal.
Yep. So, unlucky from the side of Samsung.
Well, Samsung, they have to force Baron now. They have to just keep repeatedly threaten this Baron as much as they can. With a 1-3-1 split push, keep Rise on the top side of the map now because you want him to be able to duck into the Baron pit because he's one of your primary damage sources at this Baron. Keep Lulu on, well, he's going bottom side. I guess they're just farming him. But you can see SK Telecom starting to get worried. They actually checked the Baron right there with the True Shot Barrage.
Yep. Looks like they're trying to get him that Void Staff before they go in for a big fight. So already got both components of it, so it should be pretty close to buying it. Already backing, so maybe he has the roll for it. Yep, there it is. Void Staff comes through.
Still, you can see he's waiting to TP right now, starting to stack up. He's trying to punish them if they extend to Siege.
He's got a lot of wards. He's actually going to take it here, coming in by the Wraith camp.
That's not going to work.
Doesn't look like SKT see this one. He's going to come wrapping around the side. Should have gone for the back, but he does get the flash out from Faker. So overall, it's going to be a summoner for summoner, but TP down
That's
here.
a trade you're going to make, though.
Yeah.
If you're SK Telecom, you're happy to make that trade because now they just have Bard ult. Here it is.
Well, here it is. Faker does get caught. Can they follow up this time? Wolf taking a lot of damage from the sidelines. Faker getting chunked out. That's going to be Wolf and Faker going down. Now they're on to Duke, who gets rooted by this Rise. Wild Growth comes through to pop him up, and there's nowhere for him to go. He goes down for JJ finding the kill. Bang, though, firing off a lot of shots from this backside. Blank goes deep, but he can't do a thing. Gets melted immediately. Kuve going to find the kill now. Magical Journey comes through, and it looks like this could very well be Baron going over to Samsung.
Well, it depends on how much a hero Bang can be right here. They're all so low at the moment.
Looks like Bang is going to go for it. I don't see why
He should.
not.
He should go for it.
Gets a big hit on the Kuve. Already pops the Seraph's Embrace. Might just knock them out of the pit. Bang's still going to come forward, low on mana. Throws out the Q, not going to connect. They take the Magical Journey, dash over the wall, And that's going to be Samsung getting out alive. All 5 members now with Baron buff.
Big mistake from SKT right there. You just let Faker die. It doesn't matter if he dies right here. Because now all their engage conditions are gone. All right, so you just defend the turret at the moment. And instead, they try and turn this around, but there's so much damage. You cannot fight toe-to-toe with Samsung's composition.
Yep.
And Duke just going to go ahead and melt here, even as a Maokai, to the combined might of the Lucian, Graves, and of course that rush. Well, that was actually not a bad idea from Blank, because at that point they've already lost 3 people, and if he can just come in and burst somebody down and maybe get 1 or 2 executes, Bang might actually be able to clean up that fight, and maybe they don't do Baron, or they definitely don't do Baron with that many low people. So it looked silly from Blank, but I actually think that was the right call.
No, I agree. I'm just impressed at how quickly he disappeared off the face of the earth.
They were quite ready for him to come in.
Yep. Such is Rise. Always has his spells available.
Yeah, but credit to the placement there of the Bard ultimate after they knew Faker's flash was gone. Faker tried to use his Zhonya's, his Youmu's to get the extra burst of speed to move out of the way, but he just was right on the edge of it.
Yep. Oh, Uwe taking a lot though. He's going to go down up in this top side, so splitting where probably shouldn't. It's really easy for SKT to just rotate over to that top side.
They've got to be really careful. Glitterlance going to attack Blank, so that'll stop any further engagement. Duke's still on the prowl here. He does have his flash, not going to use it.
Yep, looks like that's just going to be the disengage. Dragon getting ready to come up in 1:45, so Samsung likely just going to collect themselves. Get prepped for that one, would be their 3rd.
Yeah, so SKT just trying to delay them here, force them off the mid lane so they can actually finally take this mid-tier 1.
Yeah, they should be able to get this. The calling was obviously used by Core JJ to try to shove them away.
Yeah, Baron buff's still up though, so it's really hard for them to push the minion wave.
True, and they don't have a ton of wave cleared here.
Not enough. Looks like they will be able to do the job in the end. Samsung's got to back off this turret.
Yeah, I think he just let this one go. Ambition actually coming around the sidelines. Faker taking a lot of damage yet again. Ambition going in with a flash. Going to try to get the kill. The Glacial Fissure will connect and knock him up in the air, but they can't finish off the concussive blows. Meanwhile, Duke just getting chipped away by Core JJ. Looks like they might be able to back off Bang, taking a lot of damage. Goes in with a Twisted Advance, but Wild Growth comes through immediately. Ambition, Crown finding the kill. So now the tanky front line of Duke completely melted away. The Samsung go for more of the base. They have this open inhibitor for them. Looks like they're going to be able to take it.
Wow, and that was a split call there from SK Telecom. Once the Bard ult came in, 3 of them peeled off to try and deal with Ambition on the flank, which left their front line sort of all alone and at the mercy of Samsung's damage dealer. So even though it was a 4 versus 5, the combined gold lead that Samsung had with the fact that it was basically like 2 small skirmishes meant that Samsung was able to come out ahead, especially having that Baron buff too, and they're going for more. Baron's still up.
Yep, Ambition taking a little bit of damage though. The True Shot Barrage gets thrown out. The tower's gonna fall though. This is gonna be 2 inhibitors down in the base of SKT, and Duke's still not coming up for 6 more seconds. Could go for a TP flank play. Does have a couple in the jungle that he might be able to go to, but looks like SKT not gonna be able to push forward. We're gonna replay this fight in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Blank and Duke right there, caught out by the Bard ultimate. Instead of their team staying with them, it's basically just a 3v1 and Ambition going the opposite direction, baiting them out, and then coming through right here. Once Duke comes in, can't get the damage down, knock him up with the Wild Growth.
Yep.
Ambition having another great game on Graves.
Yeah, Ambition is a monster on Graves, it seems. 4,000 gold ahead of Blank at the moment.
Well, it's a 14,000 gold lead, so it's one of those times where 2 inhibitors down, SK Telecom probably gonna have to look at some other games in this series if they would like to stay relevant. Of course, Africa looking at this with great trepidation too, because if Samsung can win this series, they would be obviously heavy favorites to beat Kongdu Monster, and that would mean that Africa would have to win all 3 of their final matches to tie the best of 3 score of Samsung to get that 5th place playoff spot. That would be quite challenging to do, especially when they have to play the Rocks Tigers later tonight.
Yeah. They have been looking pretty strong though, but they have to follow up with Longzhu and CJ, so those games look very obtainable for them. But Rock's going to be the
I mean, they're not pushovers.
The final boss,
that's the
really.
thing. It's like CJ and Longzhu may be pretty much out of the playoffs right now, but
they have their moments.
They definitely have their moments, so you can't take them lightly.
Yeah. Unfortunately for them, they just haven't had their moments in their recent matches.
Frequently enough, really.
There's always next split. That's the thing you have to just keep repeating in your head if you're those teams.
CJ fans have been telling themselves that for years.
That's very true. Wolf no going to engage, so it takes a lot of damage. Calling gets canceled out for JJ. Wild Growth comes through just in time to keep him alive. Ambition in this front line layering out a ton of damage. Bard ultimate can just bang it. Wolf. Nice Cosmic binding to follow up, and they are just melting through SK Telecom. Faker on the run tries to use To the Skies to get out, but it's just going to be Blank that's able to escape. Barely so. Super Creeps already knocking down the Nexus towers, and that's going to be the Nexus going down. Ambition getting a little too cocky, ruins his KDA in the game, but Samsung still comes out with a crushing victory over SK Telecom.
And to Samsung's credit, I said this is a very execution-heavy comp, very limited engage. They are going to be extremely reliant on good Bard ults to get them through this one. Wraith really delivered.
Yeah.
I mean, as great as Ambition played, if Wraith hadn't hit those Bard ultimates, it doesn't really matter how much gold Samsung is ahead. They're never going to catch the members of SKT.
Yeah.
So SKT also fought in their power troughs, didn't play to their win conditions, and sort of handed that one over to Samsung. But Samsung did a good job of everything they had to do, even with, I think, very limited options in a team composition to win that game.
Yeah, didn't have to rely on the Dragons for that one.
Well, 100%. The Barons, so.
Yeah, 100% kill participation coming in for Wraith at the end of that game. Ambition with one death as he threw his life away, but also 100% kill participation. Just doing a great job applying that early pressure and just keeping Blank just contained that entire match. Blank unable to find any ground, not able to make really any ganks work. He had one kill, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of 3 that SK Telecom were able to acquire for themselves.
Ambition actually did the most damage to champions in that game out of everybody.
That is filthy. The next closest was Bang. What a game coming in from Samsung. We'll have to see if they're able to follow up in Game 2 or if SK Telecom are going to take us to Game 3 when we come back.